Okay. So domain names, for example, we talked about this last time. That is, CAD-N was a domain name, that domain type that actually was a data type that can hold a fixed set of n characters, n being the parameter. We can also have varchar-n, that is essentially a variable length character array that can hold a maximum length of n characters. Character n still has some uh, constraints defined on it. So for example, char n can hold up to 256 bytes or 256 characters. That is the highest character size that it will allow you to create. Varchar n allows you to create, I believe, 64 kilobytes of characters. Then we also talked about integers, which had 32 bits of memory, tiny int, which had 8 bits of memory, small int, which had 16 bits, big int, which had 64 bits, right? So depending upon your use case, if space is an issue and the precision of your integers don't matter that much, you can choose to use tiny int or small int, but most of the times you would actually use integer. Okay. Uh, Then we also talked about the data type that was the numeric data type. The numeric data type takes in two parameters. That is a parameter P that tells you the total number of digits that you will store in your entire number, and a parameter D that is the number of digits within this set of P digits, the number of digits that are right of the decimal place. So if I have a data type that is numeric 12, 2, that means that I have a data type that can hold 10 digits, a decimal value followed by 2 digits of the decimal values, right? So 12, 2 basically means 10 for numbers, 10 for integer part, and 2 digits for the decimal part. We would usually use the numeric data type to store your money values and things like that. We also have double precision values, and we also have floating point values, right? So double precision is essentially 53 bits of memory, whereas floating point values are at least 24 bits. In general, the floating point data type allows you to specify the number of bits that you want to have as precision. However, most databases, and that includes MySQL and all other common databases, allow you to only have either a 24 or a 53 bit precision. That is either single precision or double precision. They don't allow you to vary between those numbers.
I have a quick question about numeric.
Mhm.
So on numeric, if it's like, 12 comma 2, could the
Mhm.
number theoretically just not have a decimal, or does it have to have two decimal
No, it can
numbers?
theoretically have no have not have any decimals at all. It can be like 10 nines followed by nothing.
Okay,
But it
but it can't be 12 nines followed by nothing.
exactly, it can't be 12 nines followed by nothing.
Okay.
You're right. Okay.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Any other questions? No questions? Okay. Then we also had some other useful attribute domains such as date, time, and timestamp. These are really important data types because most of the data bases that you would use in the real world would have some version of these data types that would be a most important component of your database. So if you imagine having a database that controls bank transactions, date, time, and timestamp become an important aspect of your database, right? So when did I withdraw my money? When did I put in my money and things like that? That also applies to other things as well. We also have some other domains or some other data fields that allow us to store very large fields. So for example, characters and integers allow us to store 64 bits, or the maximum that we talked about was varchar that had 256 sorry, 64 kilobytes of memory allocated to it, and that is the maximum that it can go to. But what if, for example, you want to store for a particular student, have a student database that also stores their faces as images as well, right? So those would require you to store much higher definition, much more larger files. So for those, for example, for image data, you would use a data type called blob that is essentially binary large objects. You can also think of storing a student's entire exam or a student's entire essay into a particular file for a particular student. So for those, you would use something like a character large object. So that is what we call a cloud. And then we also have text that allows you to store large text fields as well. Okay. There are other more important specialized data types nowadays as well. Mainly we have geospatial data. So for example, Google Map data or things like that, where you store longitude, latitudes, and other information such as polarity and other things. You would store those into your geospatial data types, which are geared towards those types of data. So for example, if you're designing an app that shows the amount of traffic at each junction, for example, you would use a data type such as a geospatial data type that would actually store the number of cars at a particular location. Okay. We also talked about zip codes. Basically, that was just an example, but essentially, we need to think about the right data type to use for every time. So, for example, last time we talked about how zip codes can not be stored in an integer database, sorry, an integer domain, because a zip code can start with leading zeros. So some East Coast zip codes actually start with leading zeros. So that means that if it's an integer, if we have this particular zip code says 00095, in an integer that actually gets translated to 95, right? So essentially we want to use characters to store our zip codes. And essentially for US zip codes, we would have char 5 as our data type, right? So char 5 would be because we know that it's a fixed sized set of characters that are applicable to all our tuples. For some cases, we might also have zip plus 4 codes. For example, you have those extra 4-digit codes or extensions for your zip codes. And you can then say we can either use a char 5 or a char 9 for US only postal codes, right? Okay. Okay. One thing to keep in mind, again, for monetary amounts, do not use floating point representations or double values to save your monetary values, because in databases, and also it applies to programming languages as well, when you know that your double values or your floating point values might have some order of precision wrong. So even if you are trying to store, let's say 1, the value 1, so if I say, let me bring up a notepad. So if I say double x equals to 1.0, then more often than not, you would see that your computer actually stores this as something like this, right? Where it is trying to approximate your current number that you're trying to store, but it has some precision error at the very end of its numbers, right? So the same thing applies for databases as well. When we store double values and floating point values, and if we are using those for monetary values, that means that if I have multiple double values for multiple account values, and we are adding all of those together, there is some flow over issues that come into play, because now we are adding money that's not there just because there is a precision error. So it is always better to use the numeric data type for monetary values. Okay, any questions so far about the domains, about the data types, about creating a table?
For the zip code, it was the shootable one is floating.
For what? For what is floating?
For is that character or var character for the zip code data type?
Could you repeat? Your cutting off?
Like last time you mentioned, like it start from 0, some zip code. So the integer won't be the best one to use.
Yes, for zip codes, yes. For zip codes, the best way to store a zip code would be to use characters, right?
Okay.
Because of the leading zeros. However, for money values or you would actually use numeric, because we might want to add up two accounts and then display that sum and things like that. So characters can't be added that easily. So for money, we would actually want to use numeric or numeric values, but we won't use floating point or doubles. We will use numeric.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay. Okay, so now if we want to create a table, that basically means create table, that is the command, followed by the table name, and within parentheses, your attribute name, followed by the data type of your attribute. So in this case, account ID with the char 10. So that means my account ID is a fixed size of 10 characters. That makes sense because all account IDs are the same length. Then we have separated by a comma, we have branch name as our attribute 2 with a account domain type of char 20. That means that we have a fixed length of 20 characters. Again, remember that our branch names can be of varying lengths, but it cannot be more than 20 characters. But since it's char 20, our branch names can still be of varying lengths, but your system would still store 20 characters for every branch name. It would just pad out the remaining bytes. On the contrary, if we had used varchar as our domain type, we would still have a maximum size of 20. For example, if we had varchar 20, but then your system would allocate memory according to the size of the branch name. But in this scenario, we are just using the char 20 that basically says that our branch names have a fixed size of 20 characters, but it can be of less characters. And in case they are less characters, we would pad them out with some other characters. Okay.
Yeah. Is the padding standardized or is it implementation specific?
It is implementation specific. Usually it is standardized because remember, all of these are following SQL 99 standards at the least. So they would be following standard implementations. However, there are issues when you transfer one table or one database from us. So let's say that you are transferring a database from MariaDB to Postgres. There might be some issues there, but usually there is not. That makes sense. So you have to read up on the database manual as to how they are padding out the bytes there.
Okay, thank you, Professor.
You're welcome. And then we have the balance, that is numeric 12,2, and then we close out this thing. So essentially, let's see. So if we go back to our terminal here, we had created our bank database. We said use bank. So that made this into our default database. And if we say show it says that it's an empty set, right? So currently inside bank, there are no tables. So let's create a table, create table account, and let's follow the same thing that we did here. So we have account ID, that is char 10. By a comma, branch name, that is char 20. We could have used varchar 20, but I'm